Hello and welcome to PoE For Dummies, Tools of Path of Exile, Path of Building. This will be the first of probably a few videos in the series explaining Path of Building to beginners and returning players in order to map out your characters, learn how to read Path of Buildings, make your own, and so on. So first things first, let's start with what is Path of Building. Path of Building is a tool that most Path of Exile users on the internet use that make guides or that want to import their builds onto a spreadsheet so other people can find any errors or problems with the build. And it is such a good tool that you can basically do anything in it as long as it is in the realm of coding. Now, the amazing people for the community fork that made it basically public thing, so it's free to use, of course. And the way how we install it is basically the same or similar way how we did with Awakened PoE Trade. So of course you would go on to Google to type in Path of Building Community Fork, because this has changed from before, so now it is a community fork. That first link will open up this web page. That will then prompt you to click download. Once you click the download, you will get an executable file which you will open. Now keep in mind, Windows Defender may flag it as a virus. It is not, nothing to worry about. Once you get into the installation process, you basically click next until you install it in whatever required folder you would like it to be installed, or in its own base folder. Once you do that, you can simply run the program with a desktop shortcut, or you can run it in Windows search bar option. Now, when it comes to Path of Building, importing a character becomes a very important thing, but how do we do that? Now, there is a simple way. On the top left part of your screen, you will see the button Import Export Build. Now, for Import Export Build, you want to enter a character's account name. Now, when you add a character in Path of Exile, their account name is going to be up there. Their character name is going to be next to their character icon, but that's their account name. Now, let's say for myself, if I wanted to import my account's name is Boring Hills, even though I'm Heavy Hills now, and I click Start and I have the characters. But what if we want to import somebody's profile, or you want to import your own profile, yet you've never done this before? You will get an error message here saying your profile is not public. You need to set it for public in order to import a profile. You will get an error message right in this character import section. It will list all the steps that you need to do, but for the sake of clarification, let me show you. You will log in into your Path of Exile account on the website. Now you will click on your name up here in the top part of the screen, and that will bring you to your own account view profile. In privacy settings, you can freely click this. In privacy settings, you have set profile as private, which is to, when it's checked, it's set up as everything to be private. If it's set like this, unchecked, that will make it publicly available. So you uncheck this tick, you click update, you can close the website, and then you can carry over and import your data, your characters. Now, it offers you a few options. It offers you the league. Affliction, Shifting Stones was one of the voided leagues, Standard League, or all characters. You can choose whichever character you want to import. Now, to import a character, I will choose Affliction League because that's the current league. So you choose whatever league name it is at the time. And there's a drop-down menu if you have one or more characters in the league. And let's say I want to import my Berserker. Now, here's a fun thing. You always want to delete existing jewels when importing, delete existing skills, delete existing equipment, ignore weapon swap. We want to stay there. We want it to stay unchecked because we sometimes do weapon swaps in the builds for some other reasons. Now we are going to click passive trees and jewels. That will copy only the passive tree and the jewels, and items and skills copies all the items and skills. But where do we find those? In the same place. In the top left corner, we have the tree, which is the passive tree that the character that is being imported is using. Keep in mind, some cluster jewels don't get clicked, so you can click that manually, but mostly it works 99.7% of the time. Skills, it lists all the skills, including the ones we are not using in our offhand, which I have some for leveling as an example, or Enduring Cry, which I actually use when I swap to an offhand. You can see Weapon to Swap. When you click, that's going to show what it is. There are items, of course. Now, when we look through all the elements of Path of Building, let's go quickly over them to not make this video too long, because every segment is going to have its own thing. So that's how we import a character. How do we export a character? There is build sharing option. So generate a code to share this build with other Path of Building users. You can click generate. Export support is for party play. To export support character enables exporting of auras, curses, and modifiers to the enemy. And now you're gonna get a string. This is a very, very, very long string. You don't want a string. There's a drop-down menu here that you can use pobb.in or PoE Ninja. Both of those are fine. Usually people share POBB. You click share and it will give you a shortened link. And you can copy that link. I will leave this for the sake of making a new one. We click new, import, export, and we paste it there and we click import, and that's our character. Now, you can also make folders in this area here, which you won't get an access when you open a Path of Building. You have to specifically click back in the top left corner. This will be empty for you if it's your first time using Path of Building. Now, what you want to do, you can click on a new folder, you can add a name, and then you can put different things in. You can drag things in the folders and whatnot. You can make a new Path of Building. That's where we are going to import the character. So here it is. And you can name them whatever you'd like. But how do we name them? We click save in top left corner, and you want to type in whatever name you'd like. This build of mine currently has a name, and it is sorted. It is sorted here for Map Destroyer, basically. Now let's quickly glance over everything else. We have notes. For notes, you can type in everything that you would like to type in for your own notes, or when you take somebody else's Path of Building, they will basically generally say what they have done to the build and so on. Like my build showcase, I have the map regex, which will be in a separate video. I have the cost, some sort of cost breakdown, and so on. Now, configuration, I will leave for one of the later videos because this requires extensive look at, same as the calculations as well. Those will require an extensive look. This is just the intro beginning video. Now, for the skill tree, let's say you want to make a new character. So you make a new character. In the middle upper part of the screen, you can choose your character class. Let's go with a ranger. Now, the second drop-down menu is the ascendancy. You can choose whichever ascendancy. Let's choose Raider as an example. And then the third drop-down menu is the current League 3.23 ascendancy. Let's say we want to be a Primalist. Now, the levels here are displayed with the current levels being whatever, but when you put it as level 1, the moment you allocate points, it will give you the automatic level. Now, if you've made a mistake, let's say you've clicked up to there, and you don't want those points, how do you unclick them? Simple. You can either unclick them one by one, if you'd like to do so, or you can click on the connecting node, and it will give you red for everything that is going to become disconnected. So we want to disconnect that. Same way with the other ones, we want to disconnect it. If you want to manually override the levels, you can always type in the level 100, level 88, and so on. That will give you the appropriate life number on the left side of the screen. But to set up your your skill tree, you want to click on some nodes, and that will give you the fastest path to that part of the skill tree. Sometimes when there's like 2 points, like 2 points here or 2 points here, when you don't have this one allocated, sometimes it's going to go through weird routes. But for that, you can always like click the other way around. Now that's how to map a build in the beginning sense. Now, when it comes to skills, that will be covered in an extensive one, but let's make one set of skills. Let's say lightning arrow. You type in lightning arrow, and then you want to add maybe greater multiple projectiles. Greater multiple projectiles. Now, when you add a support skill, if the support skill can support the main skill, you will see the green background on the other skills that can be supported or that support that. If we have two things, added lightning damage. Now, if I mouse over lightning arrow, those two will now become linked and they will show a link. Now, when it comes to creating items, you can pull out any unique item from item section. In the middle, you can type in whatever you would like. Let's say lion eyes fall viridian jewel. When you click it once, it just selects it. When you double click it, it puts it on the right. And when you click add to build, it puts it in the build. The reason why it's unused is because we don't have a jewel socket. Let's say we click a jewel socket, we go items, a drop down menu will appear that we can select our Lionize Fall jewel. That's how the basic of it functions. Now, just to recap, in this video, this shorter one, we have covered what is Path of Building, how to install it, how to import a character and opening up a public profile, what do selected tabs do besides configuration and calcs, those two are getting an extensive look at, and how to set up a basic character and how to export it. Other than that, I won't touch in the first introductionary video. The next one will cover more, as I will cover all the segments in a chewable format so that you guys could watch through and probably enjoy. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this kind of showcase, please do give it a like, sub if you don't mind, and I will see you in the next video.